There's been some breaking news overnight. New protests in St. Louis following the police shooting of 18-year-old Vonderrit Myers just 12 miles from the spot where Michael Brown was killed by police. The autopsy results now show that Myers was hit, quote, 7 or 8 times by the off-duty police officer. The fatal wound was to his head. Let's bring in Paul Callan. He's a CNN legal analyst, and Mo Ivory, attorney and radio host. Thanks to both of you for being here. Mo, let me start with you. The police officer says this teenager shot at him first. Police say there was a 9mm pistol found at the scene. The protesters do not believe police. How are we supposed to resolve this?
Yeah, the very problem that we have at hand is that this is one of those incidents where there is no video, and now we go to 2 stories. And of course, who is going to believe the police, and especially in this area in St. Louis, so close to Ferguson, so close to what happened to Michael Brown. So it is going to be a tale of 2 stories, and it's going to, the physical evidence, the forensics are going to have to tell the story in the event that you don't have video. But this is the problem with the distrust of police, and why so many people will immediately say, well, he was unarmed. Why was this off-duty officer, going towards these young men in the first place? Was it racial profiling? So here again, you have the distrust of the police coming into play as to whether the facts are or are not what people are saying.
Let me give people a little bit more information. This comes from a news report on CNN.com, Paul. It says that the officer, off-duty, saw 3 black males run away as he approached. He gave chase because one of them was holding up his pants in a way that made the officer believe the teen may be carrying a gun. The officer and one of the 3 tussled. The teenager ran off, then turned around and fired at least 3 shots at the officer. This story sounds sketchy. Why would an off-duty police officer who was not supposed to be patrolling the streets, he was acting as a security guard, I believe, approach 3 teenagers on a corner?
Well, and frankly, we're not going to know all the facts, as Mo said. And I think the biggest problem here is that the police in St. Louis, there's such distrust in the community that, they used to get the benefit of the doubt when they said, hey, somebody was shooting at me and I shot back. But now, the police are so distrusted by the community that, we have massive demonstrations every time there's a use of force. Now, I don't know how this is going to play out, but I will tell you, one of the reports is that the officer was in full uniform, even though he was working as a private security guard. Police officers are police officers 24 hours a day. If they witness suspicious behavior or criminal behavior, they can pursue. But a young man trying to pull his pants up, or even, by the way, the courts have said that young men running, that is not probable cause to pursue or arrest. So from what I'm hearing on those facts, I don't know that he had a right to pursue in the first place. But on the other hand, if somebody shot at him, he has the right to return fire. And if he hits 7 times, that will still be a legal use of force. But we have to see how the evidence sorts this out.
Mo, the protesters say that this is Michael Brown all over again. But if the teenager had a gun and shot at the officer, it's completely different.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't think anybody, black, white, green, no matter what is going on right now, would say that a police officer doesn't have the right to protect themselves and to use deadly force. But here we go again with 17 shots. It has to ring in anybody's mind, that seems excessive, or why so many shots? You even have conflicting stories, even
was it
from
17,
the
Mo?
grocery...
Because
17 shots? 17 shots were fired, but he was hit 7 times. But when somebody is running away, obviously, it can be hard in a stressful situation, even for a police officer, to hit
it's very difficult to hit your target, of course. Right.
No, absolutely. Yep. And so I'm not saying that alone, but I'm saying when you compound it with what is already going on, a federal judge just ruled that the protesters in Ferguson's rights were violated. The special prosecutor is playing footsies with Darren Wilson. I mean, there's just so much going on that it makes people have such a distrust.
I think it's unfair, Mo, to say that the federal prosecutor is playing footsie with Darren Wilson, who was the police officer in the Michael Brown case. I mean, I don't know that that's a fair characterization.
There's definitely question as to what is going on with that grand jury, because they are being investigated right now. There has been no arrest.
Oh, you're talking about the leaks from the grand jury?
Yeah, yes, I am. And so I'm just saying that environment...
I agree with you. I got to agree with you 100%. There's a total lack of confidence in law enforcement in the St. Louis area. And by the way, it's not just St. Louis. I think in black communities across America, there's skepticism about the police. But we serve justice in America one case at a time. And we have to look at the individual facts of individual cases to see if the use of force was justified. And I think it's premature to be jumping to a conclusion in this case till we hear the facts.
Yes, but of course,
Sure,
if the public
Paul,
doesn't respect and trust the police, that is a fundamental breakdown that obviously we need to resolve
Sure.
and talk about in a future segment.
Mo and I think we'd agree on that 100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
Paul, Mo,
Yeah.
thanks so
Absolutely.
much for the
Yeah.
discussion.
You're
Chris,
welcome.
what's coming